From the depths of a coal mine to the heights of international fame, Parks Cadman's journey is a story of unshakable faith, relentless determination, and the power of knowledge. Today, we remember a man whose voice reached millions, not only across America, but across the world. Parks Cadman was one of the most remarkable figures in early 20th century America, known both as a powerful preacher and as a pioneer in radio broadcasting. His life demonstrates how resilience, education, and faith can transform even the harshest beginnings into extraordinary triumphs. Cadman's story began in the coal mines of England. At the age of 11, he was already working underground to help support his family. For 10 long years, he labored 8 hours a day in darkness, breathing coal dust and enduring exhausting physical strain. Yet, what set him apart was his determination to never let hardship define his destiny. In the dim light of a miner's headlamp, while waiting for coal carts to be unloaded, he would pull a small book from his pocket. Even when he had only a few minutes, he used that time to read. Books became his lifeline. They were his escape from the suffocating world of the mine and his gateway to a future that once seemed unimaginable. Over the course of those years underground, Cadman read more than 1,000 volumes. He once declared that he would rather go without food than go without a book. That hunger for knowledge became the foundation of his success. By the time he left the mines, Cadman had acquired enough learning to win a scholarship to Richmond College. It was an extraordinary leap, proof that his relentless pursuit of education had prepared him for a life far beyond the coal pits. As he advanced in his studies and spiritual calling, Cadman eventually came to the United States. His first assignment was in Millbrook, New York, a modest church of only 150 parishioners. The congregation could not even afford to pay him a proper salary. Instead, he was compensated with pigs, chickens, apples, potatoes, and on rare occasions, a single silver dollar. What might have discouraged another man only strengthened Cadman's resolve. From such humble beginnings, Cadman grew into one of the most celebrated preachers of his time. By the height of his career, his sermons reached an estimated audience of over 5 million listeners every Sunday. He became not only a household name, but also a global voice of moral leadership. One of the hallmarks of Cadman's success was his extraordinary discipline. His daily routine was astonishing. Each morning, he responded to 20 or 30 letters, wrote 1,500 words for a newspaper column, prepared sermons, continued work on books, and visited parishioners. He also set aside time to read newly published works. His days often ended at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he sustained this demanding schedule not for weeks or months, but for years. Cadman attributed his endurance to careful planning. He adopted methods used by the great British statesman William Gladstone, who famously kept 4 desks in his office, each dedicated to a different type of work. By shifting tasks regularly, Cadman kept his mind fresh and his productivity high. He also believed in balance when it came to reading. While he was deeply devoted to theology, he insisted that the mind required variety, much like the body requires diverse foods. Every week, he read 2 or 3 detective novels. He was especially fond of Sherlock Holmes, calling The Hound of the Baskervilles the greatest detective story ever written. On his desk, one might find an adventure novel, a medical treatise, a royal memoir, and a crime thriller, all lying side by side. But beyond his personal habits, Cadman's greatest innovation was his embrace of new technology. He became one of the first religious leaders to use radio broadcasting as a platform. At a time when the medium was still young, his voice carried far beyond the walls of a church. From small towns to distant continents, millions tuned in. Admiral Richard Byrd, during his expedition in Antarctica, once mentioned how delighted his team was when they picked up Cadman's voice from thousands of miles away near the South Pole. This was unprecedented. For centuries, preachers had been confined to pulpits and local congregations. Cadman transformed that model, using radio to bring messages of hope, wisdom, and encouragement to people across the world. He became a true pioneer, blending ancient faith with modern communication. What makes his journey so deeply inspiring is the contrast between where it began and where it led. From a boy working in the suffocating mines of England, sneaking precious minutes to read by a flickering lamp, to an internationally respected voice whose sermons united millions, Cadman's life embodies the power of determination and vision. His story reminds us that education can be a ladder out of poverty, that discipline can turn ordinary days into extraordinary accomplishments, and that new technologies, when used wisely, can amplify a message far beyond what was once thought possible. Cadman's life was also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. He endured ridicule and doubt. He knew hunger, exhaustion, and hardship. Yet he believed that no obstacle was insurmountable if one remained faithful to purpose. By channeling every spare moment into growth, he proved that greatness is not born of privilege, but of perseverance. Today, his name may not be as widely recognized as it once was, but the legacy of Sparks Cadman endures. He blazed a trail not only for preachers, but for all who dare to dream bigger than their circumstances. His voice, carried on the early airwaves of radio, still echoes across time as a reminder of what human dedication can achieve. The story of Sparks. Cadman teaches us that even the darkest beginnings cannot dim the light of determination and knowledge. His journey from a coal mine to millions of listeners worldwide is a testament to the power of perseverance. If you found inspiration in his story, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Memory Lane Media for more remarkable stories from the past. And join us next time as we continue our journey through the lives of 40 extraordinary individuals who shaped history.